On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, Bitcoin Gold finally has their website up and running, which is more than just a holding page. We have some suspicious goings on at Bittrex, where they're closing various accounts without saying a word. The Gigablock testnet has mined the first 1 gigabyte block, would you believe? And Craig Wright on Twitter is claiming that that's more than enough to process the entire New York Stock Exchange volume. And again today, we'll do the market roundup at the very end. So all of that coming up on today's episode of the Cryptoverse, so stay right there. Hi there guys, welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. I'm your host, Chris Coney. Now we're doing it podcast style today because I'm setting off for Norway to speak at this Crypto Finance 2017 conference. And oddly enough, given the news today, I'm giving a talk on decentralized exchanges. My talk is called Decentralized Exchange as Fast as Possible. So I'll see about getting there is a live stream actually. The organizers have said they are live streaming it on their YouTube channel. So it's the BitSpace is the organizer. So I think the BitSpace YouTube channel is where you'll get the live stream. So into the news today. Finally, Bitcoin Gold has launched their website. I keep forgetting what the URL is. It's BTC, like Bitcoin, GPU, as in graphics card, .org. Now, if you type in btcgpu.com, weirdly, it redirects you to the Kraken exchange. And I've done that several times, but it's .org. That's the problem I'm having. Anyway, they finally launched this year website of theirs with the various benefits that they claim Bitcoin Gold will have, and the launch date has disappeared. It used to just be a holding page with Bitcoin Gold and then saying the 25th of October, which is what, a week on Tuesday. Is that right? Let me just look at the calendar here. It's a week tomorrow. So on Wednesday the 18th, that will be a week away. So they are claiming replay protection on the old Bitcoin Gold. That wasn't the problem. It was more the SegWit2x fork that people were upset about not having much of a replay protection. Now, the key feature of Bitcoin Gold is they want to decentralize mining, as they say from their subtitle, make Bitcoin decentralized again. And they're going to do that by switching the proof of work algorithm over to Equihash, which is more akin to what how Ethereum works. And that'll allow the average person with a decent graphics card to mine on their own computer, rather than these specialized mining chips that are used by the SHA-256 algorithm that is currently used by Bitcoin, and here Bitcoin Cash and the SegWit Bitcoin. So that's a key differentiating factor with Bitcoin Gold. More importantly than that though, they've got a difficulty adjustment for the mining difficulty every single block, just like Ethereum. That should go a long way to alleviating the problems that Bitcoin Cash is experiencing with its like hyperinflation, then it's grinding to a halt and then hyperinflation when lots of mining power comes and goes from the network. Whereas adjusting it every block, that should really mitigate that happening to Bitcoin Gold. So here's the countdown, 8 days to go, 8 days and 3 hours. There's a FAQ page, there's a team section. However, one thing I don't like is that the lead developer is anonymous. That's never a good sign in my eyes. Everyone else, though, is showing their face, and many of them have a Twitter handle. And then you've got a bunch of industry supporters under the heading of the ecosystem. So there we go, btcgpu.org if you want to read more about Bitcoin Gold. There's more information than there was on there, but not a hell of a lot still. Moving on to this article from the Cointelegraph. It's called Bitcoin Altcoin Exchange Bittrex eyed with suspicion due to thousands of mysterious account closures. Very mysterious. So this has happened apparently without warning. Some people have just tried to log in and can't log in anymore. Some people have submitted support tickets and have either been banned or completely ignored. And some people who went into the Slack chat for Bittrex and started asking about it also got banned. So kind of weird this. Even here they've got an embedded tweet saying, you know, anyone who got issues, please just contact support.bittrex.com, which leads you to that support ticketing system. It seems very, very strange. I've attempted to log into my Bittrex account this morning. it worked just fine. The site did load a little bit slower than normal, in my view, but my account is still there. There is suspicion within this article that it's got to do with specific geographies. So I think somewhere in the article, here we go. Another Bittrex customer emailed saying, I talked to many users in Telegram groups, and most of the affected countries are Syria, India, Iran, Russia, Pakistan, and Turkey. Now that's speculation. That's only a report from one single user, but that would make more logical sense if they deemed these countries to be, you know, regulatorily sensitive or whatever. But more principally than that is you can't just go about banning customers without making any official announcement. That's where I was going with that. So it says here, many of these people who emailed were fully verified accounts, so it isn't a KYC problem. So I don't know. What is going on here? Try and log into your Bittrex account and let me know in the comments below if it's working okay. The other thing about Bittrex that I want to mention is they are delisting BitShares. So if you have any BitShares stored on Bittrex, then make sure you transfer them out as soon as possible. Actually, I think the date when they're going to delist it was yesterday or today. So double check that you've removed any BitShares from your account. Moving on to this article, Bitcoin.com seemed to be the only website reporting this, which is interesting. But it's the Gigablock testnet. The researchers have mined the first 1 gigabyte block in the world. So, you know, like Bitcoin Cash is more akin to scaling Bitcoin by increasing the block size. Well, they're kind of they're doing these huge experiments just to see what's possible. If they can successfully mine 1 gigabyte blocks, that will seriously help the cause when talking about block size is the best way to scale, or even a reasonable way to scale. So here we've got a quote from is this the CTO? What's the guy's name? Rizun is his surname. Peter Rizun, his name is, who is the chief scientist for Bitcoin Unlimited. So he's revealed that this first 1 gigabyte block has been mined. Here's the quote: "The world's first 1.0001 gigabyte block was mined and propagated on the Gigablock testnet yesterday. Excited to present our research on scaling Bitcoin." Close quote. There's some other stuff here that say that preliminary findings demonstrate 10,000 transactions per second. It says Andrew Stone here told the Reddit community, quote, "Our baseline results with Bitcoin Unlimited is essentially as is. A few years ago, we achieved 300 transactions per second, sustained thanks to Andrew Stone's work, streamlining the mempool's admission." And then it says, "I think we'll hit 1,000 transactions per second sustained on the next ramp we attempt." Right, sorry, that wasn't a quote from Andrew Stone. That was Peter Rizun again talking about Andrew Stone. But anyway, proof that it can be done. Bitcoin Unlimited's Andrew Stone says, quote, "We are not going to scale from 1 megabyte to 1 gigabyte tomorrow. The purpose of going so high is to prove that it can be done and that no second layer is necessary." Close quote. So when they say no second layer is necessary, they're talking about things like the Lightning Network, right? Because that is a second network. It's not the Bitcoin network. It's a second blanket, if you like, that sits on top of Bitcoin and is not Bitcoin itself. So it's very similar because it uses the same Bitcoin scripting language for transactions and blah, 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 and it settles to the main Bitcoin network. However, it is a second layer network and is distinct because of that. And that's what the big blockers, as they're called, they don't like that. They want to keep everything on chain, you know, with one single network, one single layer, so that everything is in the public sphere and is on one single blockchain. So there we go. That's that news there. Here's the Craig Wright tweet. That's a mouthful. He says, this was yesterday, I think it was. He says, "Today, Bitcoin can scale to 10 transactions per second, tested on over 4,000 transactions per second on the Gigablock testnet. This is 15 times the volume of the New York Stock Exchange and 33 times the Australian Stock Exchange. This is scaling." Now, there's a little tweet from me here from 21 hours ago. I replied to that, and on a point of principle, right, I just said credit where credit is due. If you make a truth claim and then go about backing it up with an experiment, who can argue with that approach? Now, that's a principle. So it wouldn't matter whether it was a big blocker or whether it was a SegWit person or a SegWit2x person that was doing this axiom that I've just quoted would still apply. If you make a truth claim and then go about backing up with an experiment, who can argue with that approach? So, for example, Roger V is always talking about how he complains about Bitcoin Core, saying that full blocks are a key feature of the Bitcoin network to make it secure, and empty blocks are dangerous. Well, I personally don't understand that from a technical point of view. So if they could show me some actual experimental data that proved that an empty block that was mined 4 or 5 times caused a security vulnerability, then they wouldn't need me to trust them, right? And that's what Craig Wright is going about doing here. Moving on to the market roundup for today, we've kind of got coins in couples today. So check this out. Big mover of the day, Bitcoin Cash up 10.54%, up to $345. Right above that is one of the biggest losers of the day, Ripple, down 5.88% to 25 cents a coin. Then we move down to 14th and 15th place. Big mover of the day, Stellar, up 27.43% to 4 cents a coin. And then right below that, one of the biggest losers of the day is Cardano, down 10.36%. Remember yesterday that Stellar mooned by over 100%, and I tweeted out the main reason why that might have been was because they announced a partnership with IBM for a new project. So check that out in my Twitter feed if you didn't see that article and wanted an explanation for the massive price gain. Third couple for the day, down in 29th and 30th place, we have another big mover, Basic Attention Token, up 32.78% to 19 cents a coin. Right above that is PivX, down 7.75% to $3.71. In terms of the charts, this is what if you look at this on YouTube, there's the little boom in Bitcoin Cash's price. That's a reasonably big candle looking at its neighbors, and it's recovered some of the losses it's had over the last week or so. Now, the next point of resistance for the Bitcoin Cash price in my mind would be $374. That was where it broke down below on the 4th of October, so that would be the next point to go for. It's below its 50-day moving average, so that would be another point to break through if it was going to go further. Quick look at the Bitcoin chart. We're still sort of consolidating up there around the 5,500, 5,600 mark. And again, tails on the candle. So reasonable support for the price, enough buyers to keep the price up there. That's kind of fascinating. And finally, on the Ethereum price chart, we've stopped with these spindly candles with big heads and big tails, and we're looking to come down and test $319 by the looks of this. But today's been good so far. There's a tail on the candle, but the price has moved back up to around the $329 mark. So there we go. Thank you very much for joining me today, guys. If you liked this episode, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new around here, get subscribed. And if you would like access to my very best material, such as my structured online courses that will teach you things like how to make and save money with Bitcoin, check out cryptoverse.com and click on the courses section. That's all for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.